power-hungry Dr. Jill Biden, making it very clear that her husband's not going anywhere. No matter how ill he is, no matter how stressed out he is, no matter how incapacitated he is, no matter how much dementia he may have. And right, okay, I'm not a doctor, but I've seen this illness before, sadly, a few times before. And I think we all know what we're looking at. By the way, we said this, did we not, all along, over and over and over and over again, right here on this show, but they somehow thought it was just a bunch of cheap fakes and that we were making it up. We weren't. I wasn't. And you knew what you saw, and then finally it hit him over the head like a ton of bricks. But Jill Biden is giving Lady Macbeth a run for her money. Here she is at the rally the very next day, right after that debacle of a debate, that horrendous debate where we all just sat there in disbelief saying, oh my gosh, is this really the president of the United States? It is indeed, but there's a little power going on behind the throne, and you know who has it. Let's watch her.
What you saw last night on the debate stage was Joe Biden, a president with integrity and character, who told the truth. And Donald Trump told lie after lie after lie. Oh, you're good. You're so good.
I mean, look at that. As he stands on, sort of in disbelief, she's carrying the whole boatload right now, the whole kit and caboodle. And according to various reports over the weekend, she's been doing this for a while. She is his nurse. She is taking care of him. According to an article in Politico that interviewed members of the household staff, she keeps them all at a big distance. No one's allowed near Joe. They said this is a little awkward. I mean, even Donald Trump allowed us in. And the excuse is, well, we're not used to help. We're not used to a staff. Well, maybe she doesn't want that staff seeing just how bad her husband really is. So she's taking it all on. Apparently the chief of staff is quite good too and is helping her take all this on. So now we know, right? Everyone's like, who's running the country? It's Obama. Well, guys, it seems to be Jill. It really does. And what's frightening about this is that Dr. Jill has no interest in giving up the throne anytime soon. As you saw, she's all in there at the rally. I mean, in the spin room, my gosh, it was like we had the kindergarten teacher at work, right? Praising the hubby for just walking out to the podium. I mean, he couldn't answer any questions, and yet she said something quite different. Watch.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do?
Wow. Okay, she's coming into her own, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this woman's even got the cover of Vogue magazine. Seriously, this is Jill Biden. Dr. Jill on the cover of Vogue. Quote, every campaign is important and every campaign is hard, shares Dr. Jill, the First Lady, in Vogue's August cover subject. Whatever happens between now and November, it is Jill Biden who will remain the president's closest confidant and advocate. Watch out, Obama. Watch out. You're no longer in charge. It's Jill. It's Jill. Of course, she's been doing this for a while. Remember a couple of years ago when she tweeted out how she was prepping for the G7? And we're all like, wait a second. When did the First Lady start prepping for the G7? Well, apparently in June of 2021, she was there prepping for the G7. Think about that. Because this has been going on for a while. And you know what? This is a tough illness. It's a tough illness. And what you start to see initially, and it can happen very, very, very fast. What you start to see is that one's gait starts to suffer. Gait disorders are quite common, quite prevalent in dementia. Much more prevalent than in a normal aging person. They're related to the severity, ladies and gentlemen, of cognitive decline, dementia-related gait changes known as DRGC. They tend to increase when you are struggling from the illness. And so you struggle to walk. You walk at a slower speed. And that's provoked by a decrease in stride length and an increase in support phase. We do have, I believe, Drew on stage with President Obama in Los Angeles recently, and you could see that decreased speed. He's looking out into the crowd, dazed and confused, doesn't know what the heck is going on, and then can't quite seem to get off the stage. So President Obama has to jump in and lead him off slowly, very slowly. Watch. So this is the video. If you are listening on Apple iTunes, thank you, or Spotify. If you're not, make sure you go over there, subscribe to the show, give us 5 stars, show us some love, give us a review if you can. Anyway, this is him in Los Angeles, and he's kind of looking dazed and confused. He's out there staring at the audience. He doesn't quite know what to do. And then Obama takes his hand, and they walk very, very, very slowly right off the stage. Again, because dementia-related gait changes tend to increase this decrease in walking speed and a decrease in stride length. You know how he kind of shuffles along. I mean, this is a guy who's really, really suffering. But don't tell his wife. So apparently they had a big family meeting over the weekend. And as you can imagine, the usual suspects were there with Hunter Biden arguing alongside Jill. Why doesn't that not surprise me? Dr. Jill and Hunter Biden on the very same page. Well, you see, what happens when Biden's gone? The spigot dries up. The power is gone. Now, if you're Jill Biden, you've worked your entire married life trying to help this guy along, trying to make sure that you would one day become the first lady. What an interesting contrast, incidentally, thinking about Melania Trump and how she's like, no, thank you. I don't want any part of this. I'm going to stay in Palm Beach very much. You know, you go do your thing. I'll do mine. And then you have Jill Biden, who's out front and center, cheering this husband along, trying to prep him for the debate, trying to prep him for G7, apparently, and being his handler and his nurse at all times. Well, I'll tell you, this woman's got her work cut out for her because he's lost, he's dazed and confused. Think about this. Here he is in the debate, getting completely lost as he tries to beat Medicare. I mean, who knew you could beat Medicare, right? Watch.
Debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America.
1,000?
And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our health care system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security.
You see, the beauty of this debate, you guys,
destroy
is that Joe Biden can't sustain himself for the 2 minutes that you're given or afforded to answer a question. And so what was great is Donald Trump couldn't jump in to interrupt and therefore save Joe Biden. We're looking at this going, or at least me in real time, Jake, what are you doing? Well, Jake had a timer and the timer was up, right? The 2 minutes were hit. And so he had to come in and, you're talking about saved by the bell, right? Joe Biden had to end what he was saying.